She hands it off to Jackson. Jackson uses the screen, lost the handle, bounced past to Plum. Plum loses it, regains it, throws it up for grabs. Grabbed by Boston out of the sky. And we're going to have a foul here. No, a timeout taken by Indiana.
Fever dog! Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Aliyah Boston dropped a post-game line that had Fever fans buzzing all over social media. But she didn't just talk the talk, she walked it like a champ. In a season where Indiana's roster looks more like an injury report than a lineup, Boston came out swinging with 22 points, 11 boards, and a career-high 6 steals, sealing it all with a game-saving stop. But what exactly did she mean by her words? That's where things get wild, because her statement might just be the secret behind how Indiana pulled off their most clutch win of the season. This wasn't just another night at the gym. This game shifted the whole energy of Indiana's season. And when it looked like everything was falling apart, one player nobody saw coming stepped up and became the spark that locked LA out cold. Let's break down why this wasn't just a win, it was a statement. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a big Fever win in the comments. Let's go. Now think about it. How do you win when half your team is sitting courtside in street clothes? That was the reality for Indiana walking into Los Angeles.
What I love the most about this squad is that, just like O said, like we instill confidence, the coach instills confidence that any shot you take, shoot it with confidence because we trust you and we trust that you're going to make it. And I feel like that's just really helped us down the line because no matter who comes in, no matter who steps up, we're all just really happy for each other.
Caitlin Clark was out, Sophie Cunningham out, Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald also unavailable. 4 guards gone, 4 playmakers missing, 4 voices ripped out of the rotation. For most squads, that's a wrap. A playoff-level game with half your artillery missing is usually a death sentence, but the Fever didn't even have the luxury of giving in. They came strapped only with grit, hustle, and faith in whoever was left standing. And don't get it twisted, this wasn't some random regular season game nobody would remember. LA wasn't just another opponent. They had owned Indiana all year. 3 games, 3 losses, each one leaving Indiana more frustrated. The Sparks were basically Indiana's personal nightmare.
The resilient, nature of our team. I think one other thing that sometimes goes missed is just the character of these women, right? Especially this group that's been here, that's gone through all of this, and then the ones that we've brought in. We brought in with O and Shea and AP. I mean, these are women who care about winning. These are women who care about one another. These are women who sacrifice every single day.
And in the standings, they were creeping close. The Fever sat in 6th, holding on to a playoff spot like it was slipping through their fingertips, while LA was just 2 games back. That gap could vanish overnight. On top of that, Indiana had dropped 4 of their last 5. People were whispering, are they folding when it matters most? Doubt was everywhere. Picture this. 5 games left, injuries piling up, and a team that looks broken from the outside. At that point, it wasn't about looking pretty on the floor, it was about survival. Every possession mattered like it was the last, and that became their whole blueprint. If you got minutes, you had to go bigger than your usual role. If you touched the court, you had to do more than your box score showed. That's when Lexi Hull showed her face, literally battered, both eyes blackened after a brutal collision with
Steph mentioned, whenever she sees you with the 2 black eyes, she smiles in a way because it just exemplifies your toughness. Do you feel tough in these kinds of situations with these 2 black eyes?
I mean, that's what people keep telling me. Every time she sees me, she smiles and then she says, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "You don't need to be sorry. This is what it is." And when I'm playing, like I forget about it, and then I go and look at the mirror. I'm like, "Oh shit, he's still there." So yeah, I don't really think too much about it because I don't necessarily feel them all the time.
Yeah, and you're still able to see completely fine?
Yep.
Right.
Nothing's changed.
All right.
Gabby Williams just a game earlier, yet she still came out scrapping. 2 black eyes and she's diving on the floor, running through screens, locking down defenders. Hull became the living symbol of what Indiana needed. If she could bleed for this game, then nobody else had an excuse. Her presence screamed, "If I'm still standing, so are you." That's what shifted the vibe completely. It wasn't about fancy highlight reels or no-look passes. Every rebound, every basket, every stop carried pure desperation. One wrong run from LA and it could have been curtains. But Indiana didn't fold. They matched fire with fire, refusing to break even when LA kept testing them. And that's when the stage opened up. For somebody nobody had circled on their scouting report. This group's resilience created space for a veteran to step into the moment she'd been waiting for all season. The question became, could the forgotten name be the one to slam the door shut? That's exactly what happened when Odyssey Sims checked into the game.
5 straight points for you to help take the lead at the end of the
Sniper.
game. Just what was that mindset for you in those final seconds?
I mean, I didn't shoot the ball well from the 3. I was over before I made that shot, but I mean, I didn't lose confidence. I think my teammates did a great job, along with the coaches, just constantly talking to me. Weren't worried about my missed shots. It just came down to continue to play. They believe in me so much, so that helped me. And when I shot it, I was open. It was one of those do or die. It went in, and I was excited about that. Like I said, I was open from the 3, but we got the W. So
Team in Los Angeles. Think about it. This was supposed to be a night about surviving, a shorthanded roster just trying not to drown. But instead, a 31-year-old veteran who didn't even crack the starting lineup turned into the heartbeat of the whole team. She wasn't just filling space, she was taking over. For Odyssey Sims, this moment wasn't just about a stat line, it was personal. She wasn't just battling LA, she was battling her old team. The Sparks used to be her squad, her jersey, her home. That history burned in every single possession, and you could see it in her eyes. This wasn't just basketball, it was redemption. At this stage in her career, nobody expects a backup guard to flip a game on its head. She's not the name on scouting reports circled in red ink like Aliyah Boston or Caitlin Clark. But when your leading scorer, Kelsey Mitchell, goes ice cold, hitting just 5 shots on 14 tries, that's usually where the cracks split a team wide open. But instead of breaking, Sims became the solution. She stepped in like she'd been waiting her entire career for this exact night. Every decision was sharp. Every move had purpose. No wasted dribbles, no hesitation, just pure poise. And those 21 points she dropped? Don't let the box score fool you. It wasn't just the number, it was the timing. She hit shots exactly when Indiana needed them most. When LA started to push the pace, Sims cooled it down. When momentum slipped, she attacked, weaving through defenders, pulling up mid-range, creating her own look like she was the #1 option. Suddenly, she wasn't just a role player. She was the release valve, the one everybody trusted when the game was slipping. And then came the moment. Clock ticking down. Just 13.6 seconds left. Indiana barely holding on. Sims had the ball in her hands, rose up with that signature floater she's been perfecting for years, and splashed it clean. That shot broke LA's heart and quieted the Staples Center in one brutal swoop. The Fever grabbed the lead for good, and Sims jogged back with her arms calm, her face unshaken, like she knew all along this night belonged to her. After the game, when the microphone surrounded her, Sims kept it simple. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And just like that, the whole Fever roster had their motto stamped in history. No excuses, no panic, just staying ready for the chaos that comes. That's how Indiana walked out of LA. Not just with a win, but with proof that resilience runs deep in this squad. But Sims wasn't carrying it all alone. Right beside her stood the anchor of this franchise, Aliyah Boston. And if Sims delivered the dagger, Boston gave the Fever their backbone all night long. She didn't just dominate, she sent a message. Look at her line, 22 points powering the offense, 11 boards snatching everything in sight, 4 assists keeping the ball flowing, and a career-high 6 steals. Who puts up numbers like that in a single night? Boston stamped her fingerprints all over this game, bullying LA's front court while still playing with finesse, proving she's not just a rising star, she's already the truth. And then came her mic drop moment. Just 1.9 seconds left, LA desperate for one last gasp. Boston read the play like a book, ripped the ball clean, and slammed the door shut. No chaos, no scramble, just a superstar ending it cold. When the cameras turned to her, Boston's message lit the whole fan base on fire. Reporters asked what fueled Indiana's fight, and she dropped her line. Next woman up. That wasn't just talk. It was exactly what she had lived out on the floor. Look around this squad. It's culture in action. Lexi Hull, bruised face and blackened eyes, still grinding through screens, still diving after loose balls like her body wasn't banged up. And then Aerial Powers, storming in off the bench, sparking the offense with her energy like she refused to let the game slip. Everyone leaned harder, everyone stepped up, and Boston, standing tall at the center of it all, made sure nobody forgot it. Put all those moments together, and you see exactly what Aliyah Boston's been preaching. Her words weren't just talk, they were a live-action blueprint. Her leadership is the glue holding this team together. Yeah, the points and steals light up the stat sheet, but her influence runs way deeper. When she throws out that line, "Next woman up," it hits like a battle cry. No injury, no losing streak, no setback is big enough to define this squad. It's confidence, plain and simple. Whoever steps on that floor isn't just filling minutes. They're expected to finish the job. And the proof was right there. Sims kicking it out, Hull dropping that huge three, every piece clicking together like they belonged on that stage. And here's the real kicker. This wasn't just a morale win. This one actually shook up the standings. The Fever's win in Los Angeles locked them into 6th for now, gave them a cushion over Seattle, and shoved the Sparks further down. A playoff spot suddenly looks a whole lot safer. And it wasn't luck. It wasn't just one miracle floater at the buzzer. It was a whole roster buying into the exact mindset Boston stamped onto this team. But as soon as the confetti feeling wore off, all eyes started shifting again. Everyone saw Boston's dominance, Sims' redemption, and Hull's grit. But now, there's one burning question that just won't fade. Where's Caitlin Clark? The one star fans can't stop talking about hasn't suited up in weeks. 17 games gone. All thanks to that groin injury that's been haunting Indiana's season. And yet, just when people started to wonder if she'd even return, a spark of hope lit up the building. Cameras caught her back in team gear, jogging through shoot-arounds, warming up with the squad, moving with that old Caitlin Clark bounce. It's not full game speed yet, but make no mistake, this is the closest she's looked to her real self since she went down. And the timing? Man, it's juicy. Indiana has only 5 games left on the regular season clock. Every single one is massive because their playoff spot is dangling by a thread. 6th place sounds safe, but it's really just half a game ahead of Seattle. One bad loss and they could drop hard in the standings. But here's the flip side. If Caitlin Clark really does come back in time, Indiana isn't just clinging to survival anymore. They suddenly have a shot to flip the script, go from barely hanging on to making real playoff noise. The opportunity is sitting right in front of them, and the question hanging in the air is louder than ever. Will Clark step back in before it's too late? If Caitlin Clark really makes her return, she could flip the whole season on its head in an instant. Picture this. Clark moving through her shooting drills, pulling up for threes, running through sets, even taking contact in light scrimmages while the coaches stand just feet away, holding their breath at every step. The entire vibe inside the gym shifts the second she's out there. Teammates can't help but sneak glances. Fans start buzzing louder. Reporters lean in closer. Everyone knows what's on the line. And yet, the tension is real. Because rushing her back too soon could turn hope into heartbreak. That's the razor-thin balance Indiana's staff is trying to manage right now. But here's the wild part. Look at what this team just pulled off without her. They stole a game against an opponent that had owned them all season. LA beat them 3 straight times, but not this night. Indiana finally punched back, and they did it without their biggest star suiting up. That alone proves something serious. Now imagine what happens if Clark steps back on the floor. Before the injury, she wasn't just good, she was electric. Averaging 19 points and 8 assists, she wasn't only putting the ball in the hoop, she was setting the tempo, creating lanes for Boston to feast inside, and getting shooters like Kelsey Mitchell looks they weren't finding anywhere else. You can't fake numbers like that, and no defense can ignore them. Tonight's win showed Indiana can fight through the storm without her, but add Clark's playmaking back into the mix. Suddenly, they don't look like survivors anymore. They look like a problem. The whole conversation changes from can they hang on to can they actually make noise in the playoffs? That's the difference Clark brings. Of course, the risk still lingers. Aggravating that groin injury could cost her the postseason completely. But with only days left before the playoffs begin, the timing couldn't be more dramatic. Clark's return could take Indiana from clinging to hope to being legit contenders overnight. That's why this win over LA is bigger than a box score. It's more than just revenge against the Sparks. It's a signal. Indiana proved they can fight, they can survive, and they can thrive even when their superstar is missing. Every possession, every hustle play, every bruise and steal shouted the same message. This team is not folding when it matters most. And now, with Clark inching closer to her return, Fever fans aren't just dreaming about holding on. They're dreaming about making a real run. Suddenly, this doesn't feel like the end of the season. It feels like the beginning of something bigger. Something that might stretch into 2025 with even brighter skies ahead. Because a team that wins like this, a team that grows under fire, doesn't just survive. They evolve. They learn how to close games. They learn how to rise under pressure. And they show the world that Indiana basketball is alive and dangerous again. So if you're rocking with the Fever, drop Big Fever Win in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.